Little Tom Collins, look at that. It's very nice. Yeet, we go over there. There we go.
Hi guys, Solly here from the Craft Whiskey Boys, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make one of my favourite cocktails, the Tom Collins. You probably know it's a very simple cocktail, but it's also one of the best. When I'm done with it, I'll be handing it over to the boys to taste and score, so let's see how I do. Me, Mo and Jay have been involved with bars for a long time, so we all have different experiences. I've owned a bar, Jay's owned a bar, Mo's eaten a chocolate bar. So today I'm going to be making one of my absolute favourite cocktails.
My favourite.
The Tom Collins, and this is an absolute classic.
Classic.
One of very few cocktails that actually has a glass named after it. Unfortunately, we're just going to be going with a lovely, by the way, highball, but it's not a proper Tom Collins glass. If you don't have a Tom Collins glass, then just use something tall and slim, and it's perfect. But essentially, Tom Collins is a gin-based cocktail, real simple, 3 ingredients, lemon, sugar syrup, and obviously a delicious gin. It originated as a John Collins, which was a Dutch Genever, so basically a Dutch gin, which is slightly more kind of malt and sweety, whereas the Tom Collins was more predominantly made with Old Tom gin, which is the middle gin, right? So you had London Dry, which was the dry gin, you had the Dutch Genever, which was the really sweet one, and then Old Tom is the one in the middle. I'm going to be making it with Tanqueray number 10, which is one of my favourite whiskies. Just kidding. This is one of the absolute best gins you can buy. Drink it straight out of the bottle and you'll be loving life. A long time ago, distilling spirits was really, really cheap. They didn't have, all the technical advancements that they did today, but it was so cheap, everyone in London drank it. The poor people couldn't afford to buy water, so instead they drank gin. So basically the whole of London was smashed, right?
Wake up, let's go. Come on, this is us.
I would encourage you to.
So they started to put legislation in place, some licensing laws, and it made it harder and harder to get gin. And then Old Tom came about. It was essentially, they didn't have column stills, and they were making it, they were kind of mixing it with some really bad stuff that was making really bad gin. And then to make it palatable, they would put licorice or sugar into it. And that's how, the Old Tom gin came about. But an urban legend has it is that to get this Old Tom gin, you had to go to a specific place in London and you had to put a coin into a slot under a black cat. A model of a black cat, not a real black cat. So you put the coin in and then the bartender would pour out a shot of the Old Tom gin and it would come out. So that's a little story. Tom Collins cocktail is a very, very simple one. It's all about quantities. You basically can only try slightly different quantities. I've gone for a recipe that I found on the Sipsmith website. If you don't know about Sipsmith, they make fantastic gins. They make even better adverts. I'm using Tank 10 because I balanced out the recipes during the week and I came up with Tank 10 as the best one. So with this one, I've gone with a Sipsmith recipe, which is slightly more alcohol. So it's actually 60 ml gin, 30 ml lemon, and 20 ml on the sugar syrup. So this sugar syrup is very sexy, right? So it's got a few extras in it. So sugar syrup is traditionally just hot water and sugar, obviously. Makes a lovely syrup. But this one actually has other stuff in it, like orange zest. So we're using, instead of mil jiggers, we're using ounce ones, which is kind of confusing for us. Okay, so I've done the 30 ml of lemon. And now this is going to take a while. So 20 ml of sugar syrup. And then essentially, this is going to be the hard part, using my ounces rather than my mils. But I'm going to give it a good go. So go slightly below that. This is a summer drink, right? So you've got to have ice to the top. And ice on the floor, of course. Lots of ice. That's probably not enough ice, but oh well. Nice shake, usually around 12, 14 seconds. Or until you get a nice bluish hue all over the... Just a nice bit of mist.
With a light blue hue to them, fresh and juicy, ready for the picking.
With Tom Collins, right, it's mixed essentially. So with things like a martini or a cosmopolitan, you've got to be really, really careful. But ones that are mixed with soda water, is, you know, they're quite forgiving. However, we know this is going to be delicious anyway. Perfect. Yeah, you only want a tiny bit of soda water, in my opinion. You don't want to drown it. This is obviously fancy San Pellegrino, quite soft bubbles. I would normally go for something a bit more bubbly. Garnishing. The garnishing part is very, very simple. Some people put a little cherry in there. Some people have sharper knives.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
And loose fingers. Also not for me. And there we have it. One Tom Collins. Or as I like to call it, Sol Collins. I finished making this beautiful drink and now we're going to get the boys in to taste it.
I've got Solomon Sayers Tom Collins. Interesting. Time to try it. It's really, really nice. It's a bit too heavy on the gin. I think his measurements might have been a tiny touch off, but it's a bloody good cocktail. You can tell all the balance is there. I'd say 15 ml less gin would have made that come through perfectly balanced in the 9s. But also you got to remember that you use Tanqueray 10, which is a high proof gin too. So I'm going to score it an 8.2, but I think it could be a 9 if you had have gone less gin. That's my score.
Excited for this. Little Tom Collins, look at that. It's very nice. Yeet, we go over there. There we go. It looks really satisfying. Oh, so it looks like an elderflower Collins, just less lemon. But really nice. I agree with Jay, huh? It's very nicely balanced. I really enjoyed that. That's very, very kind of light. I don't think it's too heavy on the gin, but you can definitely taste it in there. Look, if you're looking for a cocktail that's, you know, very easy by the looks of it to make and, you know, effective, then this is probably a good one to go for. It's not blowing it out of the park for me, but I still think it's very respectful, and I'm happy to give it an 8.5 on that. Really good job, Solly. Let's have one more sip.
All right, girls drink with straws. Sorry, guys. Quite sour. Woo. I will say I will add a bit more alcohol because it's quite mild. Flavor is nice. That will be good 8. Good 8.
8's a rookie score. 8 or 8.
Well done, Solly.
The men drink from without the straw. Wait, say on camera, the men drink with a straw because the alcohol's at the bottom. You don't. Hold on, let me.
Yeah, now I can taste some alcohol, but still I will add a bit more alcohol. I'm Polish, come on. We have like a different norm, different levels. So, as I said before, it's a good flavor. Still, I'm gonna keep my 8.0.
There we have it, guys. My cocktail has been rated at a solid 8.2. I haven't tried it yet, so I'm gonna give it a go and maybe rate it myself. Ooh, slightly, that jigger, man. It is nicely balanced, but it's still, for me, slightly on the sweet side. Shall I rate it? I slightly disagree. This is an 8.1 for me, guys.
You couldn't win this competition if you were the only person in it.
I like the amount of gin that I'm tasting. I think maybe if you want it to be perfectly balanced, you taste less gin. But I like to taste the alcohol in my cocktails, which is a bit different to many other people. I understand that. And I suppose the show's called Perfectly Balanced. So in that sense, you know, it can never be a 9 because I've made it the balance that I personally like, which perhaps goes against what we should be doing. but I just can't help myself. I'm an individual. I'm not a sheep. This is a fantastic cocktail. Tom Collins, it's the favourite of Sterling Archer.
I'm scared if I stop all at once, the cumulative hangover will literally kill me.
He loves it, his mum loves it, I love it. It's also very versatile. You can muddle some raspberries in there and you've got a raspberry one. You can use sloe gin. That's probably one of my favourites. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the show, please comment below. Let us know what cocktails you want us to do so we can perfectly balance it for you. Like, comment and subscribe.